From someplace over London, UK, this is the Space Dog Radio Show. I'm the Space Dog. Thank you for tuning in. Space Dog Radio is your remote location radio station, coming to you 24/7 around the world and throughout the universe from SPACEDOGRADIO.com. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Twitter at Space Dog Radio. Shouts out to our business partners, Rainy Days Coffee, fantastic coffee, baked goods, and free smiles on Main Street, Lake Stevens, Washington. Moonshine in Linwood, Washington. The biggest selection of moonshine flavors, great bartenders including Benjamin and Heather this side of the moon. The Speakeasy, 609 and a half Taylor Street, Portland, Oregon. No better way to speak than to Speakeasy. Rick's Roadhouse on Highway 101, Rockaway Beach, Oregon. Rockaway Beach's Rockin' Place. And the Big Smoke in Ormond Beach, Florida. On 119 West Granada Boulevard, Ormond Beach, Florida, the home of speed. Check out the Big Smoke, your premier location on the Space Coast for great cigars and accessories. Shouts out to our dedicated listeners from Mukilteo to Melbourne, Conrad to Kiev, Toronto to Tachikawa, Barcelona to Berlin, Durban to Daytona. There's way too many to mention, but we know you're out there, and thanks for all your support. Also, thanks for our Space Dog Radio crew, always on the prowl. Had an enjoyable time with Quick C out there. Quixotic was in the house with Space Dog Radio. Also, the Winter Toad out there in Montana. Winter Toad, thanks for hanging tough with Space Dog Radio. Well, we've got a lot of listeners in Britain, from Southend by Sea to London to Manchester, so we're very interested in today's election there. It's down to the wire in the UK, where an election is neck and neck between two candidates, while two other parties, the Scottish National Party and the Liberal Democrats, not only oppose the renewal of UK's nuclear deterrent, but may have the influence to do something about it. Keep in mind, the UK is a member of the UN Security Council. Another party, the UKIP, is saying Britain must take back control of its borders, leaving the EU. And speaking of leaving the EU, that is part of the platform for David Cameron, the Conservative Party, and he's running against Ed Miliband, leader of the Labour Party. Those are the top runners in the election so far. And because it's a parliamentary election, most people vote for their party rather than candidates. So essentially voters are voting for 651 seats in Parliament. The last vote they had a 65% turnout, and this election is going to be the closest in decades. Put simply, the Conservatives are promising to get rid of the deficit by the end of 5 years in government, exclusively through spending cuts. Labour, on the other hand, is committing only to much vaguer target of reducing and borrowing. And perhaps they're so close in their views, they become a blur to voters as far as their differences. Either way, someone will be running the UK in the next 5 years after this election. So when they vote in the UK, they better vote and make the right choice. Are you in the UK? Are you someplace over there voting? If so, I'd like to hear from you. Contact me at SpaceDogRadio.com. You can also catch up with me on Twitter at SpaceDogRadio. From someplace over London, UK, this has been the Space Dog Radio Show. I'm the Space Dog. Thank you for listening. Be safe, be happy, and I'll catch you next orbit.